Good morning, everyone. You are watching the DMZ America Podcast for Thursday, November 20th, 2025. Coming to you from the left, I'm editorial cartoonist Ted Rall.
And coming to you from the right, I'm editorial cartoonist Scott Stantis, and we're joined by one of the storied cartoonists in all of history. Would that be accurate,
right.
Steve?
That's right.
Steve Kelley, whose work you probably know from just about being reprinted, everywhere?
All over the place.
Yeah.
That's true.
It is true. We resent you for that a lot.
That's true, too.
Just so you know.
Three people can succeed at once.
Can they? Can they really?
Yeah, I think so. In Trump's America, right?
I don't know if Trump wants anyone to succeed but himself.
That's not very nice.
It is.
Well,
I don't know.
Think about it, Ted.
He certainly isn't letting his prosecutor of Comey succeed, but she doesn't seem capable of it.
But if you're Donald Trump and what you care about the most is your legacy, then the more citizens who succeed, the better your legacy is.
That's true.
Yeah. So he wants everyone to succeed, I guess. I mean, that's my assumption going in, unless I have it proven to me otherwise.
Well, I would say that people he calls piggy, he probably doesn't want to succeed. What do you think about that?
Well, that's probably true.
That is, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, listen, okay, let's just dive into this because Steve, I mean, you are, inarguably one of the smartest people in a smart profession, or let's pretend it is for the time being.
Wow, thanks for that, Scott.
Well, but I mean it. You think the issues through, but you do. I mean, here's the thing: debating with you and talking issues with you, I've never felt that you were like just carping some line from someplace. Like many of our other cartoonists will just, you can pretty much read the New York Times that morning and know what they're going to be thinking. I don't get that with you. I never have. But I mean, that's just to lay the groundwork for smart. And I mean, Donald Trump, do you really, think that there's a lot of smartness going on there? Because the vocabulary, I'm just saying the inarticulateness, all of that.
Inarticulosity.
I would start with he won. And that's a fairly significant suggestion that he campaigned well. And I don't think you campaign well without being, having a pretty good understanding of how the system works. A lot of people said, oh, well, other people, when he campaigned against Hillary, everybody said, oh, well, he didn't do well in the popular vote. Well, he wasn't campaigning for the popular vote. He knew what the rules were, and he was playing, he was playing by the rules of the game. And so, I mean, it's like I've often compared it to people who say, well, Hillary got more popular votes. And I'm like, okay, well, that's like saying, a baseball team who loses by 30 runs, they had more hits. Who cares? It's a statistic.
But Steve, Hillary Clinton never heard of
yards than the other team.
Poor Hillary Clinton never heard of the Electoral College, so it's really not her fault.
Right. Well, that's true, and the Electoral College exists for legitimate reasons, and I mean, I think you can make the case. Gosh, we should just have every one person, one vote, and be done with it. But
that's not the system.
States, it's difficult when you're divided up into states, and you don't want people running a campaign just to large population centers.
Hey, to your point, I mean, I would say Donald Trump is probably the most intuitive and counterintuitive politician of maybe in the country's history. I've never seen anything like that in this.
And let's not forget his achievement, right? He's the only man to be elected to the presidency without having served in the military or held elected office before. I mean, he literally just came out of the gate. It's like it's like Michael Jordan being like, "Oh, I want to play basketball. I want to do an entirely different professional sport." Right?
Well, I mean, did you say Michael Jackson? Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan did want to play another sport. Remember, he played golf.
Exactly.
No, he played baseball here in Birmingham for the Birmingham Barons.
Oh, right. But then he was also a big golfer. He was everyone's favorite opponent because he played for money and he had a really low handicap that he couldn't play to.
Really?
He was an honest golfer. You lose a lot of money that way.
Did you ever play him?
Did I ever play golf? Or I played golf. I never played Michael Jordan. No.
Well, that's what I was asking. I mean, that wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah. No, but yes, it is. And that would have been so much fun. And I'm not talking about because, I might have won some money. I'm just saying.
Oh, sure.
Meet Michael Jordan. I've often thought you can learn everything you need to know about someone by playing one round of golf with them because they experience every, you have challenges, you have disappointments, you have moments of extreme joy, and how people react to those things. Often it takes a lifetime to find out, but you can find out in 4 hours on a golf course.
Let me ask you,
want to be friends with them. I've got friends who are friends for life that I met because we were paired together in a golf tournament.
Oh, cool. Well, I wanted to ask you golf, just total out of left field question. Is Trump a good golfer? I know you're an excellent golfer. Is he?
I used to be a good golfer. I'm not anymore. My brother would tell you flat out he sucks at golf. But I haven't played with Trump. I haven't seen him in person play, but I've seen his swing, and he has a pretty good golf swing for a person of that age and his physical stature. Yeah, he hits the ball pretty well.
Steve, let's talk about the state of the GOP. That's what I put on the thumbnail for today's episode, and I figured you might have some thoughts about it. There's a poll I'm sure you're aware of that came out a day or two ago, NPR Marist poll, that shows basically it's a hate off for the midterms, right? I mean, Donald Trump is really at a low. He hasn't been. He's at 39% approval rating, way underwater. He's basically hasn't been this unpopular since his first term, and at the same time, the Democrats may not be able to take advantage of that because nobody likes or trusts the Democrats either. American people basically only care about affordability, and they feel like neither party, nor the media, nor anyone gives a shit about them. So what happens, politically going into the midterms? I mean, my theory is that both parties aren't really running against each other. They're running against apathy and trying to motivate their base. But how does this play out?
Well, I don't have a crystal ball, but if I had to guess, I would say that if the economy gets better, if people start earning more at their jobs, if they're bringing home more, and then of course, Trump has promised almost everybody, a $2,000 check, which kind of
check.
That's a good check, but I'm not sure I understand it. It sure smells bad to me. I mean, I wouldn't recommend, if I were in his cabinet, I wouldn't recommend delivering $2,000 checks to people. It just smells bad. It's too easy for your opponents to make fun of. But
it's still $2,000 that you're putting in someone's pocket, right? I mean,
it is, but you're going to get that whether you vote for Trump or not. So I don't know. When I voted for Trump this time, I was enthusiastic because I thought that's the right direction for the country to go. I do not love him personally. The way he conducts, not himself, but the things that he says and the way he says them. I think that Americans, I know that I, in a president, want someone who has, my number one adjective would be dignity. That's not an adjective, that's a noun. I want him to be dignified and because he's representing all of us. And the one thing that you could have that would represent all of us would be dignity. Understanding.
Obama gave us that.
I agree with you that he did. He was very dignified. I enjoyed listening to him speak, which I think most everyone enjoyed hearing him speak. He could compose articulate sentences on the fly, and he would speak in paragraphs often. The polar opposite of that is Kamala Harris, who couldn't manage to string together a noun and a verb.
True.
I mean, it was just
Joe Biden,
right? Or a coherent thought. You know, even if you don't speak all that well, if we can somehow divine that you're thinking well, and you might be able to assemble people who can put together a coherent, good policy, I'll vote for you. But
well, I mean, different politics, but Harry Truman would have fit in that category. He followed arguably one of the more articulate presidents we've had, certainly one of the most linguistically fluid, and Harry Truman was terrible speaker.
Right.
But to your point, Steve, he made sense. He clearly had thought through the issues and could, in his way, articulate.
Well, and then Ted, you spoke about, the polls and where everyone is, and Trump is underwater, and it's true that he is. And I think a lot of it, Trump starts out, no matter what poll you're taking, at 50% negative. 50% of the country not only does not favor him, it loathes him. Right. And it sort of reminds me of if you were to buy stock in a company, and then the stock starts going down, you hesitate to sell it because you have stock in that company and you don't want to get out of it and run.
The lost cost fallacy.
Yeah. So I don't think Trump. I think he does care about polls, but I don't think that's his North Star for navigation. I really don't.
Well, obviously this is his last term, so it seems like he's really interested in. Scott and I were talking about this. He's interested in legacy, right? This is a guy.
Seems to be
he wants to build a triumphal arch. I mean, that's what he wants to leave. But if I had an hour or 10 minutes with the president, I would say, Mr. President, presidents no one's going to remember who built the triumphal arch, but they would remember a Republican who does something to fix Obamacare. And he doesn't seem to be leaving behind or even trying to leave behind policy prescriptions that are going to endure because they were passed by both houses of Congress instead of through an executive order.
Right.
I don't know if he maybe understands that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, and my suspicion is that he may behave a little bit more going forward. I think in order to get things done, I remember when I went into political cartooning in the early 80s, and Ronald Reagan was president and Tip O'Neill was the Speaker of the House, and they got things done for their respective constituencies by sitting down and saying, I'll give you this if you give me that. It really isn't that difficult. And I think that America can afford to do that.
Well, somehow. Speaking of which, Steve, tomorrow we're going to have the amazing optics of Zoran Mamdani at the Oval Office with President Trump hanging out. Now, first of all, I think that's great. But what I don't understand is sort of like, how do the voters take this system seriously after the shit that these two guys talked to each other and called each other? Basically, Mamdani is saying he wants to Trump-proof New York City because he's a fascist. But Trump is like, this guy is a communist. It's like, well, and then it's like, they're going to have to make nice, both of them. Right. Tomorrow.
I don't know that that's true. I think you could end up with another Zelensky moment.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Yes. Yeah. Good point, Steve.
Well, because is Trump going to roll over for Mamdani? I don't think so. He's not going to say, well, you make some good points when you talk about sending in social workers instead of policemen. So I just don't see that happening. I think that Trump figures, I've got to deal with this guy somehow because that's a big city and that's a lot of power. And,
And he has a lot of business there.
And it could be the camel's nose under the tent. It's starting to appear that way across the country as more avowed socialists
Seattle
are coming.
Seattle, Portland.
Yeah. So it's going to be that'll be a fun.
I think we'll see what happens tomorrow, guys. I think they're gonna make nice because both of them is smart enough to know that the other one can give back as good as they get.
Right.
I don't know though. I think
that wasn't true about Zelensky.
I think if he walks in, remember he walks in the congressional leadership to talk about the shutdown, and he has hats on his desk for say Trump 2028. He's not afraid to flip the finger to guests. I mean, this isn't something, and maybe he'll just think Mamdani is actually like the gold leafer and have gold leaf something else. I'm sorry, Steve, that the Oval Office looks awful.
I just don't see Mamdani doing that well in New York City. I mean,
I don't either.
He threw up all of these policies that he was going to get all of these great things, and people made the mistake of believing him. That's just my opinion.
Well, you're talking to one of them. Oh,
I voted for him. I think what people on the right don't understand about the New York vote for Mamdani was that it was a spite vote. That's highly analogous to the vote for Trump in 2016.
Yes, I agree with you. That's a very good point, making it analogous to the Trump votes. I think a lot of that was disdain for the other side.
I was not going to vote for him at all, Steve. He's 33 years old when he was running. He's 34 now. And I was like, he's too young to be mayor of New York. He's too inexperienced. And I thought Andrew Cuomo was the natural pick, right?
Yes.
Okay, even despite his problems. And I was maybe not going to vote for him, but I wasn't going to vote against him, if you know what I mean. And then, then then the New York Times came out with this toxic editorial against Mamdani and how dangerous he was and how he was going to destroy business. And then I started getting these mailers from, that were paid for by Mike Bloomberg, start talking about like how he was going to bring Sharia law to New York. And I was like, oh my God, the rich and powerful elites at the New York Times editorial board and the billionaires, they hate him. I was like, I've got to totally vote for him.
Yeah.
That's literally why I voted for him. And everyone I know voted for him for the same reason.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the Democrats now who, have big microphones are decrying billionaires because all of them are millionaires. And I think the millionaires don't care much for Mamdani either.
Well, Bloomberg's a Democrat, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. And if you think he's only going to tax billionaires, I've got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you.
Yeah, I don't think people really expect that much from Mamdani. I mean, I think the grocery store thing is probably dumb. The bus thing's probably a pretty good idea, and he can do that. As for freezing the rent, the problem is it doesn't go far enough because the median rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in New York City in all 5 boroughs, including Staten Island, is $5,000 a month. And things are way out of control. And even if you can freeze the rent for a year or two, most New Yorkers are like, it should be, you should reduce it by 40%. And that's not going to happen.
Well, so Ted, just as a matter of interest, suppose you owned rental properties in New York City and your property taxes went up and you had costs, to renovate properties when tenants moved out, and you started losing money on your rental property and wanted to raise the rent. What would you tell those people to do?
Well, landlords are already in serious trouble in New York City, even, going back to de Blasio. I mean, there was a law passed 6 years ago under de Blasio that reformed that, for example, makes it impossible for landlords to raise the rent after a renovation, which used to be a standard thing. Like a tenant moves out, you renovate the apartment, you can raise the rent to recoup that's no longer true. And so, I have banker friends who are warning me that we could see the Bronx is burning kind of scenario again from the 1970s, where landlords torched their own buildings. It happened to me in the mid 80s. My apartment was burned to the ground. It was arsoned by the landlord. He burned the entire block down. And so it's a problem. I mean, I don't want to pretend like it's not. I mean, I think there are solutions, but I don't think, unfortunately, the landlords, they bought at these prices, and if they'll go bankrupt. I mean, you're not wrong.
Well,
yeah, but I
guess I wonder too, could you walk into Dillard's and, I mean, if you were the mayor of a city and say, well, you can't raise the price of the clothes that you're selling because people can't afford to pay more, and Dillard's would just go out of business or close down in that city. You at least have to look at the big picture when you're considering policies.
Well, and on a national scale, though, Steve, this is also this is applicable in that people generally, say 20 years ago, spent 25% of their income on housing. That number is now over 50%, approaching 60.
Right.
That's a huge issue for this White House and for the Republican Party, who, Trump ran saying that he was on day one going to get the prices down. Hasn't happened. I haven't seen, other than what someone like a Mamdani has done, is propose, how do you get those prices down? Now, I've often talked about, I don't know, why don't we let free markets take care of this issues that free markets do so well? Right. And that is get rid of or lower a lot of the restrictions, a lot of the regulations, open up supply chains. That means getting rid of tariffs, which I loathe and find to be completely and utterly anti-free market and free trade. And that would mean people could build houses, build apartment buildings, build our way out of this problem, because it's not like we haven't had this before. Following World War II, we had 1 million men come back, and we didn't have enough housing for them, obviously. And what did they do? They started building places like Levittown and other communities like that across the United States, and they fixed the problem fairly quickly.
Right.
Well,
I like the idea of a vibrant construction industry. I always have, because there are so many fingers that radiate out from that and provide income and jobs for so many different people. I mean, if you're going to build a house, you need framers and flooring guys and roofers, and you've got to buy windows, you've got to buy paint. All of that lifts up the economy.
And then the house has to be maintained by people who make a living doing landscaping and so on. All that's true. Correct. I've always wondered, though, about we have tens of millions of abandoned houses and apartments in this city. This country. And I always wonder if there's not something we could do to rehab a lot of those and give those to the homeless and to the poor, or subsidize or something. I mean, it just feels like, when you drive through rural America, you see these boarded up farms all over the place, farmhouses everywhere. I mean, my hometown of Dayton, Ohio is gutted by the demolition industrial complex. Everything just gets torn down. That's what they call it. It's actually fascinating, because the reason that they demolish all the homes is because the banks that are based in New York and Chicago, they evaluate the ability of a loan application, and they look at the ratio of occupancy to available square footage in a town. Right. So the city of Dayton, and this happens all over the place, they to get rid of the denominator in that equation, they tear down a lot of empty units, and so you end up with nothing that, if the economy ever turns around, that you could ever rehab and turn into take an old factory and turn it into a hipster loft. You're mortgaging the future by doing that.
Well, that makes sense to me. I think you're at a level. What you saw in Dayton that's shocking to me, that they would just go through and mow down.
Yeah, Detroit it started in Detroit.
Yeah, there's farmland in Detroit now. In the city of Detroit, there are cornfields now.
Wow.
Well, versus the meth-based economy it was, which was such an improvement. So this is great. I love talking policy here. So you talk about housing, about that market, about building housing. Part of the problem with that is they're having a hell of a time finding guys who work for them, Steve. And part of that is that the workforce they've relied on, the immigrant workforce, the illegal, let's be clear, much of it illegal workforce coming in. So, I mean, has ICE and has that whole movement kind of, I mean, has it run its course? Has it overstepped? Because the effect on the economies now is being felt.
Again, I would try to look at the issue from a macro perspective, and that is that they say, oh, well, if we don't have this flood of illegal immigrants into the country to work the fields, who's going to pick, the lettuce? And I'm like, well, the problem is, I mean, the reality is, if you paid enough for picking lettuce, you would get people here who don't have work.
Here.
Go out there and pick lettuce and do framing and do roofing. When I lived in New Orleans when Katrina hit, and so in the aftermath of that, for 2 years, I would look at people who were swinging hammers and hauling. I lost the feed. I'm sorry, are we back?
You're.
I'm sorry, I just lost the feed here. I'm just saying almost every one of the people who was actually swinging a hammer or doing physical labor was obviously from another country. And I thought, what is it with Americans that they just yield all of this work that pays good money, to other people?
I don't know that it pays great money.
Steve, if you can hit your camera icon on the
I think your camera is off.
Yeah.
Is that it?
We don't see you.
Let's hope so.
You faded to black.
Is that it? Well, now I went to black.
Try it again. Hit that camera. Slam that camera logo.
And then we should show some of his cartoons.
Yeah, we should.
Can you see? Can you see us?
Me on the screen now, but I don't know if you do.
We don't.
We do not. But
unless you're in a very dark room.
I am not. I'm at my girlfriend's parents' house, by the way, in Lawton, Oklahoma. So
live from Mammoth Cave, Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't have a big comfortable chair that I draw out of.
All right. Well, let's. All right. Well, yeah, Steve, we don't see you, but
can you see us?
We can hear you.
Yes. I can see you. It says you're on the show, and it says uploading recordings. So,
but you should see the three of us side by side on your screen.
I do.
Oh, that's really weird. We only see each other. Scott and I only see each other.
Lord.
Okay, whatever.
We'll show your cartoons. We do have other graphic elements.
Yeah, here we go. All right.
Well,
so
this may be a great time for the feed to go dead for everybody when you're showing my work.
Totally. Here we go. All right.
Now, I'm sorry, I have to read it because we do have an audio component to this, but it's Mamdani saying, my aunt stopped taking the subway after 9/11 because she didn't feel safe wearing a hijab. And the woman responded, that must have been devastating, Mr. Mamdani. My aunt stopped taking the subway after 9/11 because she was incinerated in the North Tower. You got some reaction to this, Steve.
Shocking.
Well, I did, but on Facebook, on one of the sites on Facebook, this cartoon received 86,000, I guess they're just called reactions, but I went through some of them, and I mean, it was mostly just people, angry about what Mamdani had said and agreeing with the cartoon. But I've never had any sort of reaction at that level. I mean, if I get a
recently,
100, that's about it.
So can you talk a little bit about what the reaction was?
Just people outraged that Mamdani was so tone deaf that he made that remark. Of course, he was standing in front of a mosque when he said it, and there was a group of adherents to Islam that he was speaking to, and I think he was speaking directly to them. And I don't. Was he trying to make them feel better? I have no idea. But
oh, we know what he was trying to do, Steve. Come on, you're speaking to the audience. You're
trying to motivate the base is what he was doing. But I don't know. I thought it was the biggest mistake he made in his campaign.
Now, and this is a side issue, but or I'm sorry, Ted, did you have another?
I was just going to say, Steve, I don't know. I don't want to risk losing Steve, but according to the error message I get here, if you refresh your feed, it might help. You just hit, I don't know if you have a Command R or whatever.
Well, I'm on a phone. That might be part of the problem.
Oh, maybe don't take that. I don't know if you can. Oh boy, here we go.
Well, I can explain this for him.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, playing the role of the understudy of. Let's hope we get Steve back here.
Yeah, we will. So, I can understand why this cartoon got such a reaction, but I don't know that I disagree with the sentiment in it. I mean, it's when you make why we decide to make ourselves and our own stories heroics. Ted, I never quite understood it. I mean, here's a guy who is, the front runner for the mayor of New York City. Hey,
there you are, Steve. That worked.
Yes, it worked.
Yay, Steve's back. We're just explaining that what you meant by this is that. No, I wasn't doing that at all. I was talking about how politicians tend to want to expand their own mythology. And, I'm just like you because I've suffered like you. Well, Mamdani, I mean, that's an extraordinary story. Let's face it. But I mean, it's sort of like when Hillary talked about dodging bullets in Bosnia. It's like, you don't have to do that.
Well, that didn't happen. Yeah.
Well, and it really doesn't matter that the truth of it in this case really doesn't matter to me. It's even if he made up that story about his aunt, it's still completely tone deaf and insensitive to certainly the families of 3,000 people.
Yeah.
I see your point. Look, obviously, I understand the cartoon, and I get it. But I mean, it is also true that like a lot of people suffered after 9/11, right? Like most of all the people of Afghanistan and Iraq, I would say. But
right.
But like obviously, yes, the New Yorkers and other people who lost loved ones, obviously. But it's also true that, like, for example, a couple of Sikh people were killed, assassinated by morons after 9/11 who thought they were Muslim because they had turbans. I mean, there were lots of cases of discrimination against Muslim people after 9/11 for years. I mean, they suffered too, right?
Yes, it's a valid point, and Japanese suffered in a similar way after Pearl Harbor.
Yeah,
it's. I mean, I don't know what you say other than it's unfortunate, but it's also understandable that people would feel the way they felt, and it doesn't make it right. It just makes it understandable to me.
I
don't think that my cartoon didn't say, well, they got what they deserved, these people who had nothing to do with the attacks. It said, you're running to be the mayor of New York City. You should, even if you're going to say what he said, maybe he should have started out by saying, the attacks on the Twin Towers were unforgivable. And if he had prefaced his remarks with that, I think it would have made a big difference. But he
or just say a lot of New Yorkers suffered terribly that day and afterwards, yes. Including right.
Yes. Yeah.
That probably would be better. Let's show something else here. Okay.
Congress saying high five. When she says, sorry, after 40 days of chaos and anxiety, the most I can offer you is one finger.
I really wanted you to show the one finger, Steve.
Yeah, I know, but I have clients that I have.
God, Scott and I are both with Andrews McMeel syndication, formerly known as Universal Press Syndicate. And the online arm of that just censored one of my cartoons yesterday for a reason I think you guys will probably agree is incredibly retarded. It was a cartoon that showed Hitler in the bunker, and it's Hitler in the bunker. It's a historical analogy, and there's a Nazi flag in the bunker, as there was.
Right.
And they said, we can't distribute a cartoon that shows a swastika.
Wow. I didn't know that. I've seen a zillion cartoons using swastikas.
Yep.
I mean, they were all, I'm sorry to say, but I consume most of my political cartoons online, and the rules there are not as strident as the ones in print. But
yeah.
I know swastikas were verboten. I mean, as long as you're not using it improperly.
Well, here's the cartoon. I'll just show it. It's about the Democrats.
Yeah. Wow.
It's an aide coming to Hitler saying the Allies are Democrats. They came to Berlin to surrender.
The most fun part for me was drawing the dog.
That's so funny.
But
did they shoot his rat dog?
Poor Blondie. How we loved him. So, yeah, I mean, anyway. So yeah, it's a little ridiculous that in 2025 we're still laboring under the inability to show like the middle finger.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the thing is, newspapers are consumed by members of the family. I guess you could say the same thing about online, and maybe to a greater extent. It's just that with newspapers, I guess people are more accountable because they're sitting at desks and they have phones on their desk and they have email addresses and their names are known. So the internet is just this, it's just all vapor. And if you get angry at something, what do you do about it?
Right.
Well, the middle finger. Do you guys remember it was a terrific cartoon at the time, but incredibly controversial during the Ollie North testimony.
Yes.
And Paul Conrad did a cartoon. North was up there in his Marine uniform and his ribbons and looking very official and Marine-like. Except Conrad rendered the same scene, except he's doing this.
Yeah, I remember.
So it was a fantastic cartoon, but that was back in the 80s. Yeah,
80s.
Yeah, mid 80s. And
Iran-Contra was 86. Yeah,
he was Paul Conrad. I mean, he was kind of untouchable that way.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was Paul Conrad in a lot of ways.
Let's show another one of your cartoons.
He was something.
Of course, now I have to pull it up here.
Oh no, we've lost Steve. Steve's gone. He's gone.
Oh my God,
again.
Steve, come back!
There, he's back.
Yes, there he is. There he is. Okay, here we go.
Can you believe 2/3 of Democrats prefer socialism over capitalism?
I think I've lost the audio feed, gentlemen.
Oh God, really?
Uh-oh.
We hear you.
Yeah, I hear you fine. I can hear you just dandy. No?
Steve, do you hear us? Let me see if I can in the chat. Oh my God.
Technology.
Always never a dull moment. I wonder if he muted us or something. Or maybe I'll tell him, please refresh.
Yeah, he's gone. So now I can tell you this. So can you believe 2/3 of Democrats prefer socialism over capitalism? And the other fellow at the bar is saying, can you believe they think Republicans are the threat to our democracy? So that's equating the socialism with the end of democracy. That might be an interesting question. Should we get Steve back?
Totally interesting. I mean, I would push back on, I think Scandinavia, here, Steve, we'll just let him answer. All right, go ahead.
Are we back?
You're back.
Can you hear us?
Do you hear us, Steve? Steve, we hear you.
That is so strange. Check your speakers. Or
I wonder if he has like a Bluetooth thing that's like grabbing his signal or something. But he doesn't hear us.
Well,
okay. All right. Well, I'll keep talking.
Oh shit. Now he's gone.
We didn't do that.
No, we're not trying to.
That.
No, we're not a syndicate. We're not censoring anyone here.
Because I really want to ask about this. Okay.
All right, Steve. Let's third time's a charm, maybe.
I just got a message that you can hear me, so I'll keep yammering, but I can't hear you.
Yeah.
That is so.
Okay. I'll text him.
Okay. You have his text address?
We're asking about this cartoon and its argument.
Can you read that, Steve?
Guys, I have no sound whatsoever.
Oh my God.
Can you text him?
I just did.
Is that texting?
Well, it's the studio chat. He got the message before. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. It's so like irritating when this happens. Steve, do you hear us? Yeah, there was some stutter. I agree with Logan Perry. I was hearing that. I'm pretty sure that was on his end. I don't know what to do here.
I'm just going to text him. Text.
Okay.
Or we could just say goodbye and show his cartoons. And
all right, maybe we should do that. What do you think? Well, I'll take him out of the. Well, I'm not. I'll just let him be there. All right. Well,
I'm really sorry.
It's all about Lawton.
Honestly, I can't remember what that cartoon was about. I know I remember drawing the cartoon, but I can't remember the captions on it. And it's too small for me to read.
Okay. All right.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Okay. All right. We'll just go ahead and I think we're going to have
I
to
can read it now.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Do it.
Yeah, I mean, well, this cartoon was just about, about how Democrats are always saying that Republicans are a threat to democracy, and I find that rich, since it's Democrats by large who are supporting socialism in New York and in other races around the country. That was the very simple point made here.
Okay, let's show another one of Steve's cartoons in order to just maybe he can just like walk us through it, right? I mean, let's see. I think this is the last one anyway. There we go.
Oh yeah, this cartoon when Trump decided to demolish I think it was the East Wing of the White House to build his ballroom. I was surprised that so many people took such exception to the idea. I think that the White House should have a ballroom. And it was surprising to me that nobody bothered to look at anything other than what was being torn down, and that, Orange Man bad. It just went to the default setting. There wasn't even a discussion about it. And so I drew Trump with a blank canvas, getting ready to paint on it. And already the critics are, disdainful of it.
Maybe just wait till it's done, in other words, and then we'll see. Unfortunately, Steve can't hear us. So I think, Scott, what do you think? Should we just take Steve out?
Yeah, I think maybe have him on again.
Okay.
And
all right. Well, all right. We're going to take Steve out. Sorry, Steve. Please, maybe you can text him or something afterwards. Okay. So anyway.
You can show some of mine, some of yours.
Yes, I mean, indeed.
That's really a shame, because we're having a pretty good conversation.
It is so annoying. All right. I was going to say my
Ruh-roh.
There I am.
What the hell was that?
Me. So Mac iOS has this very annoying thing that if you just make a slight like leftward motion with your magic mouse, it'll just completely take you out of the screen that you're on. And it happens every now and then. All right, let me. God, nothing's working right, including me. What I was going to say is that there, I mean, obviously there's lots of, there's socialist democracies all over the place, right? In Scandinavia.
Yeah. And so, I'd be curious to know why, if he feels it's a slippery slope, which is, has happened in the past.
And there's a lot of capitalist dictatorships.
Well, yeah. China.
So, yeah.
China.
All right, let's pull up a Scott Stantis cartoon.
Oh,
here.
good Lord.
He's the worst.
This is Newsom is now apparently, according to polls, the front runner for the Democratic nomination 2028. And so, but I'll do for America what I did to California. And that wording is very intentional. And I just have an Uncle Sam type guy saying that's what we're afraid of, because California not doing great.
Didn't you want to show something that was going wrong in California in the cartoon?
I'm wondering if I should have. I mean, that seems like a TED cut. You're right. I mean, you show, you show it, you don't say it. You do both. And
well, sometimes I say it, but I'm just saying it's sort of like, it's a rule in cartooning that I violate too. Show don't tell. I was just thinking could have used a few homeless people.
Yeah, I think some tents. Yeah, maybe have homeless tents behind him instead of just the guy. Okay. Fair point.
No, not trying to be difficult.
You're cartoon shaming me. But hey, Ted, I'm going to take off for just a minute. I got to take care of something real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay, all right.
I am so sorry.
God, everyone's just dipping. Oh my God. Well, so while Scott does that, I will go ahead and, there's Steve. Steve, you're back. Do we hear you? Steve, are you there? Do you hear us? You don't hear us? I see Steve. I do not hear Steve. Okay, but Steve's not, I don't know. This is very mystifying. All right, I'm going to show one of my cartoons, and let's see what we've got here. Okay, and therefore maybe Scott Stantis will come back and he will see it. Okay, so this was a cartoon that I did. It came out Monday of this week, and it was following the government shutdown, during which, Steve, I think I hear you, or I hear static. Or okay, Steve, if you ever hopefully just chime in. Anyway, so I did this cartoon about following the government shutdown. I mean, the Democrats were clearly winning the public opinion polls, and yet they decided to cave in and go along with the Republicans to reopen the government after 40 days. And so we have two Democratic officials on the, being before the firing squad of a bunch of Trumps. And one says, "We were winning. Why did we surrender?" And the other one says, "Worry not. We've got them where we want them." And I thought, it's a self-explanatory cartoon. It seems like the Democrats have an amazing ability to snatch defeat from the jaws of defeat from the jaws of victory, as we like to say perversely. And that's sort of the thing, Bettina. The behind the scenes things of cartooning, is important. There's Scott Stantis.
Yeah, this one I know.
Hey, Steve, we hear you now.
Can you hear us? Nope.
Okay. All right. Anyway.
So no, what I disagree with you on this, Ted, and I need to ask you this, is that, I floated this idea last time, and it's that could these 10 Democrats who voted against or voted to end the shutdown, could they have just done it for humanitarian reasons? That is, they saw that real people were going to truly suffer. I think you can give them some credit for that, but or not? You tell me.
Well, first of all, there's the fact that that's not what happened. I mean, we know now that the airline lobbying group, which is called Airlines for America, was leaning heavily on Congress and on Chuck Schumer and on the Senate Democrats to reopen the government with a clean continuing resolution. That's what happened. The airlines were suffering losses. They were seeing delays, and they were anticipating more delays as we went into the Thanksgiving holidays, a pre-holiday period. Thanksgiving's a week from today, and they were worried about that. And so they told the Senate Democrats, cut the shit and reopen the government. That's what happened, right? I mean, and so were people suffering? Sure. But I got to tell you, as brutal as people losing their SNAP benefits was and the hunger that it caused, that's going to pale compared to the scale of the suffering and the disease and the death that's going to result from the fact that the Obamacare subsidies are going to have been left to expire. And almost certainly there's not going to be any deal to restore them, despite what the Republicans are sort of implying.
Yeah, the Republicans and even Trump keep implying that there's some plan in place, so Trump care or whatever the hell they want to call it. Have you heard? I mean, I'm serious. I pay attention to this. I'm sorry we lost Steve because he may be able to address this. I haven't seen or heard of a serious plan from the GOP on healthcare to replace. They talk about, can you hear us now,
Steve?
We
hear him.
We can hear him sigh, but we can't.
Yeah. Well, we have grace under pressure. Anyway, go ahead, Scott. You were saying.
Well, that was just the thought there that I haven't heard a GOP proposal.
No.
That's as extensive.
There is none. They don't care. I mean, I think there's a division in the conference. Some Republicans definitely want to do something, but not enough to get to a majority. Right. I mean,
well, and when you look at districts, Republican districts, you definitely see, a need because many of those people are on SNAP. Many of those people are on Medicaid. And, what is GLIP?
Oh, those are the Ozempic type drugs.
Ah, okay. Well, this is just a natural one. It's called not being able to afford food.
Yeah, exactly. Let's put on another one of yours, Scott.
Oh, really?
Or actually, we'll put on another one of mine because here we go.
Go ahead and read it.
Okay, so it's a couple in a poor, rundown apartment. And so this one guy says, thanks to the always surrender Democrats, food stamps are back. And so is the toxic food I can afford. Also, thanks to the Democrats, I can't afford to see a doctor about the cancer I got from eating toxic food.
Did you read, another study about processed foods and how incredibly bad for you it is?
It's literally they're sounding the alarm and saying that the world's governments literally need to drop everything and make this their top national policy priorities because it's killing so many people.
Yeah.
I hear a dog barking.
Yeah, I know. It's a lone. That's Steve Kelley, a lone voice in the wilderness. I'm sorry, Steve. It's just.
Oh my God, poor Steve. Well, he's looking good there.
He looks fantastic.
Yeah, he looks great. Okay, let's see. Let's do another one of yours, and let's see. We might have two more of yours, but I'm not sure about that.
They were pretty local, but I can explain them briefly. Yeah, this was the mayor of Chicago, who's looking to tax just about everything in every way. And so it's the Delta 8, which the U.S. Congress decided is making it illegal only because there was no controls, no regulation. They were selling it in packaging that looked like candy, and they were selling it in venues like gas stations and little mini marts and stuff. But the mayor of Chicago thought that he was going to and was hoping to make $1 bazillion off of this gambit. So there's that.
Yes. Okay. Let me find the other one.
Do you have any sense about weed and marijuana legalization? So, I mean, when I was in New York visiting you, there's a bunch of illegal pop-ups in New York. In fact, there's one just around the corner from your place.
Mm-hmm. Not anymore. It went out. Yeah. But
but at the time it was shocking. Mm-hmm. And they were selling things like mushrooms and stuff. I mean, it was stunning.
Yeah. Literally, there are only, I think, 12 legal pot stores in New York City, and there's literally over 1,000 stores. And these are stores, they're like in storefronts rented from landlords. They're not like, they're not squatters. They didn't break in. I mean, it's kind of amazing. So yeah, it's nuts. And there seems to be like a backlash. I don't know what Mamdani's going to do about this at all. Here's our last one.
Okay, this was Choose Chicago is an organization, one of those city-funded things that are supposed to help people come into Chicago. And but the latest survey latest proposal said we need inclusive tourism and community engagement, which is, people don't come to Chicago for that. They come to Chicago for the Loop. They come for the pizza.
Well, what is inclusive tourism and community engagement? What do they mean? What are they talking about?
I think it's we all know that they mean woke tourism. That's what the tour guide is saying. And for our next stop is the exotic strip malls of West Beverly, which is a deep southern neighborhood, deep south of the city neighborhood, which is absurd. West Beverly is about the size of your thumb. And it's strip malls. And so the point of the cartoon is that this is absurd. No one comes to Chicago to go see, the most dangerous or the shittiest neighborhoods. They come to the Loop to see the Loop. They come.
I like the sleepy dude on the top on the upper deck.
Yeah. So it just was one of those, like, it was so absurd of an idea that I just had to cartoon about it, and so I did.
Well, Scott, I think we should leave that there, and we'll have an even perfect hour, even if we didn't have an even perfect set of circumstances for our guest, Steve Kelley. Steve Kelley of Creators Syndicate. Check out his work. And thanks, Steve, for joining us. Steve, if you go back and listen to this, we're going to have you back. Scott, tell Steve we want to have him back. Hopefully on a working phone line this time. And thanks, everyone, for watching. We are now on our regular schedule, every Thursday. I guess not next Thursday. Next Thursday's Thanksgiving Day. So
you can take us away from our families.
I know that could only be a benefit. Maybe, I would do Thanksgiving I would do Thanksgiving Day, but we'll figure that out and let you know. But generally speaking, we're here Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. on the West Coast, and you guys can extrapolate throughout, especially you in the maritime provinces with your weird time zones. Thanks for joining. Please like, follow, and share the show. And now prepare for the singing outro, courtesy of Chicago Tribune cartoonist Scott Stantis. And away we go.
Ford campaign of 1976. I'm feeling good about America. I'm feeling good about America. I can't remember the rest of the words because it was 1976, but the phrase was, it had marching bands and stuff, but I'm feeling good about America.
Are you?